What's up, Internet? We're live. I'm Chuck the Liberty Geek. Two words if you're a PC gamer. Steam sales everywhere. Prices are slashed. Oh, my wallet hurts. Thank you, Gabe Newell. All right, let's get started. Today I want to talk about the free software movement. And a lot of you people out there might not know what it is. I'm going to try to educate you what I think is right, a lot of what I think is wrong, and I can't wait to get started. So today I got a guest with me, Adam Brandt. What's up, Adam? Why don't you go ahead and plug yourself a little bit?
Hey, how you doing, Chuck? Good to be on. I've got the show Liberationis Republicae here on the Voluntary Virtues Network, as well as you can see in the lower third thing there, my YouTube channel, for my personal channel for things that are Michael Shanklin unapproved, or at least stuff I don't want to bastardize the network with. So check those out. But let's get rolling.
All right. So I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit about what is the free software movement. So it means a lot to a lot of people. And personally, here's the way I understand it. Free software movement, as described by Richard Stallman, is thus: every piece of software, and preferably hardware, used in technology today should be open source. Now, what exactly does open source software mean? Open source software means that you can look at the base code. You have unlimited access to the whole source code of the program. You can change it exactly how you want. You can see exactly what's in it, and that's that. What do you think, Adam? Simple enough?
Yeah, that's about what it comes down to. And I don't know if you were planning on going into the 4 particular freedoms with the free software movement. I've actually got it pulled up right here, so I can read it word for word if you'd like.
Go ahead. We'll see the 4 particular freedoms as said by the Free Software Foundation, the SFF, or the FSF. Sorry.
I should say this. This actually brings us to a link through gnu.org/philosophy. This is put together by Mr. Stallman. So his 4 basic freedoms for free software or open source software is: a program is free software if the program's users have the 4 essential freedoms. The freedom to run the program as you wish for any purpose, freedom 0. The freedom to study how the program works and change it so it does your computing as you wish. Access to the source code is a precondition for this. That's freedom 1. They say 4 freedoms, but it's 0, 1, 2, 3 for some silly reason. You probably might be able to geek out a reason for that.
No.
The freedom to redistribute copies so you can help your neighbor is freedom 2. And then freedom 3 is the freedom to distribute copies of your modified versions to others. By doing this, you can give the whole community a chance to benefit from your changes. Access to the source code is a precondition for this. Yeah, for the good of everybody. Sounds a little socialist to me in that regard, but we'll let it slide because IP
this is one of the problems This is one of the problems I specifically have with the movement, but we'll get into that later. And so there's one more, right? Or was that all of them? I can't remember. Nope, that's all of them.
0, 1, 2, 3.
All right. Weird. First off, okay, I give Richard Stallman credit. He always, when he talks about this, admits that he's talking about free software, not free as I'm going to quote him, okay? Not free as in beer, free as in freedom. Now, it's a little socialist from my view. But there's more than one, more than one part of the freedom. So the free software movement, and Richard Stallman's view is not the only view. So I want to make that clear. There's also the philosophies of the BSD movement, for example, which I will also get into later. So, first off, I want to talk about what do I agree with. Now, to talk about that, I kind of have to put out one disagreement first. Richard Stallman's point of view says that all software should be free software and no one should be allowed to use proprietary software. What? What? I mean, why can't I have my choice? I understand where he's coming from. Free software, with open source software, you can see the inner workings of it. You can see if it's used being used to spy on you via NSA or GCHQ. I think that's the British one, and I get that. But at the same time, I like Windows. That's proprietary, and that is not free and open software. That does keep users out of certain elements, but I still like it. I understand that it could be used to be harvesting my data, or that I just can't make every little micron change to it how I want. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
Well, me personally, being a big supporter of Ubuntu and other Linux distributions, because I personally am not a big fan of the Microsoft spying, but that's
Mhm.
just me. I enjoy the fact that Microsoft is absolutely fantastic for running about 99.9999% of every program out there on the market. I mean, I'm currently coming to you from a computer running Windows, because that's the only thing that can run this Logitech webcam nicely for me, and that works for this. I mean, I could go ahead and record audio podcasts and do some kind of ass backwards recording through my Linux distribution that I run, but I can't edit my videos in the right format and in the right resolution for what I need. Windows can do that. I can go and watch all the videos, listen to all the music that I want on my other computer, which runs my Linux. But yeah, if I want functionality that is actually going to be useful, especially for this network, I kind of got to have Windows. Now, whether I
Right.
have a legitimate Windows or not, that's a whole different story. Anyways,
But you, with your Linux computer, you don't scold me for using Windows. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't scold you for using Linux. I don't scold someone for, well, okay, I do scold someone for using OS X, but not because they choose to use OS X. It's just a crappy OS. Anyways, so, but the okay. So now that we got that one dislike out of the way, what do I agree with? I agree with the idea that yes, that developers should have the right to put out code and say, this is what I have. What do you think of it? Do you want to change something? Go ahead. And people should have the right to do that, especially even if it's not an open source program. If you have the program and you somehow are able to crack the DRM on it or whatever, you should have the right to change that. I agree with that. But to say that all programming must be open source. Here's the problem with Richard Stallman's free software. Another problem is that he, under the GPL license, which is the license he endorses with the GNU project, the idea is that sure, as a developer, I can release a software for money. I can do that. But then someone has the right to just take it, modify it, and without even modifying it, they can just give it to someone else for free. And okay, I understand. Okay, that will always happen. That's fine. Okay, but he endorses it almost. Now, the whole piracy topic is a very wishy-washy one, but at the same time, you and I both agree that you should at least get some of the fruits of your labor, right? Coding is still labor, right?
right. Well, I mean, this brings up the interesting conversation on intellectual property, which there's so many in the libertarian anarchist tradition who've wrote so many great things. I think the best, the two best actually, would be there's a book on IP by Stefan Kinsella, and then another one by Butler Schaefer. Both are libertarian or anarchist critiques on intellectual property, and this kind of toes the line on it a little bit, in that he's basically saying that everybody has the right to do everything that's ever been on the internet ever. And while I obviously don't think that intellectual property has any basis or any grounds in anything anywhere at all for any reason, if for some reason I create a software and I don't want somebody just copying it straight up,
You should
I
have the
can
right to put DRM on
find
it.
a way. Yeah, I could if I can figure out a way to prevent it from being pirated. Great. If that means I end up losing my share of the market because people really don't want to pay $600 for an operating system that barely lets you run anything, well, I lose. I'm a really, really, really shitty designer on software then.
But at the same time, so this is what I think. I agree that if you can break it, go ahead. But on the flip side, I also agree that this is where Richard Stallman and I very much disagree. Stallman says that DRM has no place on programming whatsoever, and I disagree. If you have a way to secure your work for the future, right? If you have a way to do it, you should at least be allowed to try. Now, don't get mad if someone tries to break that. That's just the rules of the internet. But you should have the right to try.
And
Okay,
that's uh, it's just one of those beautiful things of the market. We're going to try, we're going to fail, we're going to try, we're going to fail, then we're going to try, and we're going to win, and we're going to win, and then fail, then win, then fail, then win.
exactly. It's a cycle of always going. You can't stop it. It's like life. It's literally the same thing as life and death. You can't stop it. It'll always be there. And I think the idea is just. It's kind of fun to watch everyone kind of fight against each other. I'll admit, the pirates versus the DRM people, and rah, 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 rah. But at the same time, Richard, it's gonna happen. I'm sorry. Now, and are you familiar with like the two main open source licenses that are out there, GPL and BSD?
GPL is the one that I'm most familiar with.
Sure.
At least because
That's
I
the
end
one
up
that's
running
in
into it a
question.
lot of times when I'm downloading the stuff for Linux.
That's the one. That's the one that Richard Stallman in the GNU project and his FSF Free Software Foundation endorsed. But there's also the BSD one, and I think as a market capitalist, you would like the BSD license if you were a programmer, because check this out. I'm gonna give you a quick link, right quick, so just so you can follow along with what I'm saying. It's right here. I'm gonna just put this in the chat right quick, and we're good to go. So there we go. You should get that in the chat. I will screen share it
There we
for
go.
everyone else.
Cool.
So here we are. There's GPL and LGPL, which both of those are Richard Stallman's thing and the GNU project thing. But then there's the BSD license, and BSD license comes from its own operating system. There is a BSD series of operating systems that are also similar to Linux in that they're free, they're open source, you can go around and tinker with them, right? And there's a million different ones. A little less support than Linux, but even Linux doesn't have that much support right now. So it's interesting. The BSD basically says, here, I'll read it verbatim off this website, which is fosswire.com. FOSS standing for free and open software. I think something similar to that. I'm having a brain fart right now, but without spending too much time on it. In contrast to the GNU licenses, the BSD license is very permissive. Used originally by the BSD operating system, it covers a fair amount of software. The BSD basically says, here is the source code. Do whatever you want with it, but if you have problems, it's your problem. This means you can take BSD code and turn it into a proprietary application. Hey, guess what? Guess what? This is how Apple was made. Fun fact. The BSD project for Unix, Linux, and BSD both use a Unix background, or Unix based for their kernel. Apple took what was BSD licensed way back when and made their Apple operating system out of it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's just one of those another beautiful thing in the market. And one thing that I think we really haven't touched on yet, and it's something that people really need to understand. And I could be just splitting hairs here, but there's a term license that has continued to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
This almost always insinuates the state and the state having some kind of control in it. And as an anarcho-capitalist, that doesn't sit well with me. I believe that in a free society, these GNUs or BSDs or whatever kind of different acronyms they're going to come up with for all these kind of setups, they're going to be contracts, or at least or some kind of open version of contracts. That way, it's very clear what you can and can't do with this according to the creator of said code.
And I like the term contract better because, a contract, not only does it not imply that the state's not involved, but it also implies you can walk away before you sign this thing. You don't like GPL license code? You can go to BSD town. You don't like BSD town? You can go back to GPL town, or you can do your own damn thing. You know, that's the beauty of it. And I guess we didn't really cover GPL much, so I'll use this website again to cover what GPL is. GPL license basically says that when you release and modify, you can take its source code and modify it any way you want, but you must explicitly re-release it under GPL license. Now, I don't really like. Very almost socialist to me because it's like, well, here's my work. Now you can just do it, but make sure it stays here where where this license can monitor it. Whereas BSD was like, here's our program. Oh shit! Someone made Apple out. Someone made Macintosh out of it. Someone made OS X out of it, and it's pretty bonkers. And I like this phrase right here. But if you take the code, and you screw up, it's your problem. No one else is responsible for you. It's much more risky territory, but at the same time, it's much more interesting. And I'm just gonna let me put that back up again one second. So right here, I'm gonna highlight it for y'all. It's your problem. Thoughts?
Well, that just shows that there's people who create all these baseline codes out there that they I don't know if they're actually intending to create anything big with them. They're just trying to maybe just solve a problem. Maybe it's some kind of math equation. I don't know. There's all kinds of weirdos out on the internet. I mean, we're two brilliant freaking examples of that.
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, God,
yes,
I can't wait till we release the next episode on both my channel and the Voluntary Virtues Network on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, shameless plug.
That's fine. I'll plug it too. I recently just did an interview for that channel, so watch that video. And towards the end of this video, he and I have an announcement to make, and I wish Randall Parker Jr. was here to make this announcement. Maybe I can convince him to hop on, because I didn't do it during his show, and I kind of forgot. So we have an announcement to make towards the end of the video. I'm going to see if I can get him on, and towards the end of the show. So hopefully he's watching. And continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. But the whole point being that the people whose code you're basically fucking with, they're saying it's your problem if you do something that's really, really, really crappy. But at the same time, the beautiful thing about the internet is you'll have so many people come together. If you've got a question, you've got a problem, unless you go to 4chan, in which case you're screwed. Don't even bother. Just walk away. Your problem will not get solved. You will go ahead. The community is going to come together. They'll help you make a better product. And it's this is where crowdsourcing everything, whether it's crowdfunding it or crowdsourcing together 5 or 6 different people who are willing to help you with the project. And we see this with the Voluntary Virtues Network, that we've got a problem of not enough anarchist, voluntarist anything's really being set out there for the general layman, and we pop in and we just exist, and we are now a community in and of ourselves that is growing leaps and bounds and educating so many people, and it's just beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I disagree with you. There are certain boards on 4chan that will get problems done. TG, shout outs to my homies at TG. They get shit done. It's even in the motto for the board. TG being the traditional games board, where they play Dungeons and Dragons and be grognards. So, but the board that really is going to have a field day with me is the technology board, since they all love Richard Stallman, and I basically just said, no, you're wrong. So, and I think he is wrong on a lot of counts. I basically just, the thing I disagree with him most on is his lack of choice, where you must use open source, proprietary is all bad. I'm going to put this out right now. Chuck the Liberty Geek says, I would rather have a corporation spy on me than a government. A corporation spying on me is harvesting market data to try to sell me something I might want. And generally, in a free market situation, I have alternatives. For example, DuckDuckGo. They'll do the Google search for you, but it gets their information that gets pulled. State, on the other hand, spying on you, making sure you're agreeing with them or pushing their propaganda, and then they throw you in a cage when you don't, and sometimes they execute you. And yeah, what do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong?
Oh, you're 100% right. And even in a free market scenario, you're going to find that if you are if your right well your right to privacy is being violated, or at least you perceive it that way, you call up the company, say, hey, what the hell are you doing? I didn't consent to this, and they'll say, all right, we're going to redact all this stuff, or, sorry, that's how we work. If you want out, just say it now, and we will wipe your existence from our database, and you move on to a company who doesn't do that with your data. And that's
Exactly.
something you will never have with the state, because they don't give two shits who you are. They're going to get all the information they want on you. In fact, they've still got all the lowest order emails, because emails are stored on servers, not hard drives. Fun fact.
Oh, yes. Our hard drives crashed. So what? Unless the server hard drive crashed, you have absolutely no excuse. That's what you get when the state investigates the state. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much an investigation as much it's a circle jerk and figuring out how to deal with the problem.
Yeah. Oops, we got caught.
Yeah,
So,
that gives on it a few times.
so if I can get Randall Parker Jr. on here soon for the announcement, I'd really like him to be here for this announcement because he's a huge part of what I wanted to announce today. And so, Randall, you're clear to jump on anytime if you can hear me. And speak of the Randall.
Speak of the Randall.
Here. Speak of the Randall. Hey, Randall.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Pretty quick, name your favorite open source program. Do you even know one?
Yeah, no, I know some. It's just a tough one to pick one right now. Let me get my banner up.
I love it.
Favorite
Open
yeah.
Office.
Hello. No, Open Office is a great one. GIMP is a great one. I want to come up with the one that's
I can't get over the
really.
name for that. Though. What?
Yeah,
What's the audio one? I want to represent them.
One of them.
Audacity.
Yeah, Audacity. I think that's open source. Hold on.
Let's just verify that.
Well, I mean, they do have, you can pay to have some kind of tech support with it.
No, yeah, Audacity is open source. Good pick, Randall.
That's my pick.
You didn't screw up. Good for you. So I have an announcement I want to make while you're here, and this is actually relevant because Adam is part of this too. In about a month's time, yes. In about a month's
evilly, maniacally laughing.
In about a month's time, there is going to be a co-branded special between Liberty Geek as well as Roads to Liberty. I'm going to say that right at some point. Hosted by hosted by this guy right here, Randall Parker Jr.
Yes.
Liberty Geek is going to run a Dungeon World game, which is sort of like a tabletop role-playing game. Think Dungeons and Dragons, and you're close, except it's better. Shots fired, Wizards. 5th edition sucks. Screw you.
Nice.
I'm sorry, that's such a sore spot because I like 3.5 so much. But for real, we are gonna play. Sorry, I got an itch. We are gonna play a tabletop role-playing game. So far, I got some big names on this network confirmed. Randall Parker Jr. is gonna be a player. He's also gonna do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. Thank you so much, Randall, for helping out with this. Adam
Got it, bro.
is going to be a player, and I'm going to make sure I kill his character first. So be there for that.
We have to kill each other? I thought we were playing voluntary.
Oh no! You don't have to. You don't have to.
I want to be a. I'm gonna figure it out because I didn't read the sheet yet. But I'm probably gonna
right.
like a mage or something cool.
There is a wizard. There is a wizard.
Yeah.
There is a wizard.
But wizards can be kind of mages. Isn't there a difference between mage and wizard?
It depends who you ask. I mean,
it's
like D&D will say there's a D&D will say there's a difference between a wizard and a sorcerer, but the point is that we also have the big boss dog of the Voluntary Virtues Network, Michael Shanklin, said he will play, and I really can't wait to see how he treats a nerdy hobby, because in my opinion, he is the most normal person on this network of all time. Literally. It does not get more normal than Michael Shanklin.
He covers it up well, I think. I think he realized that like for him to roll with the Mises and the Jeffrey Tuckers of the world and all that, he has to play real high and tight. You know what I mean?
And we
Well, when we
also
put anybody compared to the fuzzy Liberty Geek over here,
beard.
anybody can kind of look normal.
Yeah, thanks. Now I'm really gonna kill your character first. I hope you're prepared.
Oh, there's 3 screw jobs there. Great.
Yep. And also we got Robert Kruger, and stay tuned. There might be 1 or 2 more players. And once again, Randall, Adam, I want to thank you for being part of this project, and I want to thank you for letting the Voluntary Virtues Network have its first truly nerdy moment. And I think it's going to be great. And Randall's picture is frozen.
Yeah,
Said
I'm
that
frozen.
amazing
I don't
smile.
know if you can hear me. I don't know if it's a smile,
Oh, we
but
can hear you. We can hear you. It's okay.
yeah, my feed my whole computer's locked up, but I still am projecting. Oh wait, no, it's still screwed up. I'm buying a new one soon, hopefully.
Robo Randall.
But thanks a lot, you guys. Thank you for indulging me in my nerdy silliness. And I really hope I can put something out fun for you guys. I'm going to be the storyteller, the game master, the dungeon master, what have you, whatever you want to call it. And these 2 are going to be players, are going to be characters. We just lost Randall, but that's okay. He was there for the announcement. Randall Parker Jr. of Roads to Liberty at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Voluntary Virtues Network. Adam Brandt, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself again one more time right quick. I lost my camera feed too. There it is.
Oh, great. I am the lone survivor. No. Yeah, I do a show every Wednesday. It's pre-recorded. Typically, I may go into a live format at some point, but we may have to change my time slot later. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, which is where I'm at. Liberationis Republicae. If you don't know what that is, please just go to the first episode. I'm not going to waste time here. Also, check out my YouTube channel. You see it in my little lower third here. That's where I've got a bulk of my content for the last couple of years. Please check it out. But for the love of God, don't watch my shit until you're done watching this bastard's stuff.
Thanks.
So that's simple. I mean, that's simple.
But for real, I had a great time. I hope I educated, at least scratched the iceberg for someone to think about the free software movement, and hopefully brought them more towards the BSD side than Richard Stallman's more socialistic view of technology with no choice or anything like that. And, it's almost 9:30. This has been Chuck the Liberty Geek. I have to go buy more Steam games for Steam sales and waste my money because I'll only play those games 3 times, but I love the big Gabe N, and I don't care. And peace.